Hi guys, Divya here from Diva Balmy, and I wanted to remind all the federal workers and the nurses and the nurse practitioners and the doctors who got fired to listen. Don't trip, don't freak out, don't even get mad, okay? Because I understand it. You've been, we were the ones who, when COVID hit, and the whole country was locked down, we were the ones who held this bitch up, right? We held this bitch up. We were the only ones who was out there working, right? They called us essential workers, and we had to get our asses up and go to work and face whatever we needed to face. Remember? We were the ones who, when everybody else had to stay home, we had to get up and go to work. In the darkness of the night and in the early of the mornings, we had to go to work to save lives. Yes, we had to save lives for, everyone that had COVID and was dying from COVID. And we were scared. We were scared. We were like, oh my God, are we gonna make it back home? And if we go home, are we gonna be able to come back to work the next day? Are we gonna contract the virus? And what about our families? Some of us had to live apart from our families because we didn't want, especially if you have little kids, you didn't want them to catch the virus and die. And here we are that we are getting fired. So not even your position as working for the federal government is safe. You're not even safe working for the federal government. You are let's just think about that for a minute. As a federal worker working for the United States federal government, your job is not even safe. You can get fired without reason. You know, without reason, you can literally get fired. Because I know a lot of these workers, they didn't do anything to get fired. You know, we know they didn't do anything to get fired. They just came and said, show us what you did, and if you don't answer the email, then you don't have a job tomorrow. And I think that's absolutely crazy that somebody could do that to you. But I know that's shocking to you, but the only thing about that is don't trip, don't worry. And I tell other providers, I tell nurses, I tell PAs, I tell all of us in the medical world, and even everyone out there who are not in the medical world, that you are not just a worker. You're not just an employee. You are the business. Anyone can start a business. Anyone can start a business. You have people on the street side selling, or even people who are on the street side with the sign, please help me. That's a business right there. You know what I'm saying? That's a business right there. So I'm saying that to say anyone can have a business. You can start a business. And as a medical provider, right? As a nurse practitioner, RN, registered nurse, doctor, PA, dentist, you already know you can start a business. You are not just an employee, you're not just a worker. You are the business, right? You are the business. Yes, you're working for these um, big ass companies and hospitals and institutions, even the federal governments. But as you saw, that job is not safe. You cannot think that when you go to someone else's job, you are safe. There's no guarantee. Because right now, with the economy, the way the economy is, the company, the CEOs of the company, they're going to think about their business, and they're going to think about themselves, and they're going to think about ways to cut costs. Just like what Elon Musk with Doge, right? Doge, is doing. They are trying to find ways to cut, right, expenses. And I don't agree that cutting your um, federal workers, the ones who held up the institute, the ones who held up a lot of these different departments of the federal government, during the time of COVID, they still had to go to work. They were the ones who held things up. They still kept things running. I don't agree that firing them is, the thing to do. But hey, who am I, right? But at the end of the day, I want every one of you to know you are not just an employee. You are the business. You are the business. You can start a business. You can start a business. Start a business today. And I tell you, find something to sell. Okay? Sell your knowledge, sell your skill, sell your experience, sell your, your something that you enjoy doing in your free time, right? A hobby, you know, sell something. And I say air. Look at all these millions cars driving around. You can sell air. Sell air so that they can put air in their tires. You know what I mean? Not saying you should, but that's just an idea. Just find something to sell, you know. I was watching Shark Tank last night, and I saw a lady. She developed a um, you know something that moms and parents can use for their babies who have snot in their nose. And you're looking at it and you're like, they did a poll. They asked the audience, because it was Shark Tank live, and they sent out a poll to the rest of the viewers and said, how important is baby snot, dealing with baby snot, getting rid of baby snot, helping the babies to deal with their snot, important to parents. And it came back that 81% thought it was very important. And that was when one of the sharks, I think it was Lori, who said, "Okay, let's go ahead, and we're gonna. I will take you, and I will be your shark. I will invest in your company." And something as simple as an instrument, some sort of you know, thing that parents can use to help their babies when they're having a cold with the snot, their nose are stuffy, to deal with the snot, right? So listen, take this time that you've been, fired from your jobs. Take this time and think about what are your knowledge, what are your skills, what are your talent, what are your hobbies, and what can you create, right? What can you create that will help society to be better, that will help people's lives to be better? And go on Shark Tank. I don't know. Go on Shark Tank and propose this to them, and see if they will invest in your company. But you have to bet on yourself, because you now see that you cannot bet, not even on the government, man. No, 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 no. You can't depend on anybody for your paycheck. You have to depend on yourself. Start that business. Start that business today. Start scared, start broke, start fired. I don't care. Just start. Take the time, sit down, and think about what business you can start. We have a multi-million business building businessman as the president of the United States. Buy his books, because he sells a lot of books that tells you how to start businesses. You can even buy my book for nurses and nurse practitioners, because of our profession. Ours is a little bit different in terms of how we can start businesses, especially if you're going to be offering medical services, like a clinic, or a weight loss clinic, or skincare clinic, or any sort of clinic. It has to be a professional liability company that you have to start. And I'm not trying to give you any legal advice, but I really want you guys to think about the positive. Now you have the free time to start that business. Start that business. Take the time and think about how you can start that business, and start that business. Start your business. Start your business. What's stopping you? Start your business. Don't let this stop you. Start your business. Start a business. Sell something.